Hi, my name's John Wright, and I'm the Lord. It's quite an event that happened down there in Florida, and I've been talking about things like this happening around the world, not just in Florida. I'm sitting here thinking, and it's coming to myself, like it does, is, you know, one event, and there's going to be another event. Maybe the two events did happen in Florida. I'm happy to see what I'm seeing in Florida. I'm liking what I'm seeing with the people working together instead of being in total disarray. And I'm liking the point that people are praying, and I've heard some good things about the way that things are, and that the city seemed to be spared a little bit by it shifting to the south. And I just think that, maybe you guys are starting to get the point of view that God Almighty is in control of this. Like I said, I can say this is what's going to happen, and when I get my feathers ruffled, like what's been happening around here and what has happened in the past, I was thinking about making a chronological list of the events that happened and the dates and stuff, and come back and say here, 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 and here, and you can follow the dots in my address. It coincides with these places and the events and the things that happened. And even in Nevada, I mean, my brother stirred me up, and I watched the Challenger space shuttle blow up, and I was in the Elko hospital. My brother Jerry came and got me because his wife was in the hospital. He was forcing me to take a piss test in a room. He took me over there like I don't know what's going to happen until they do it. He puts me on the spot. Then I see an event like this happen on TV. I mean, the yin and the yang can spark an event just like that. It's just like Terry Shortridge grabbing my arm and hanging me over the trailer, and I look up and I go, I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, my family's been awful to me, and now my best friend's doing it to me too. And the next thing I knew, Terry Shortridge got murdered in my bedroom. My brother Jim standing up going, I just murdered my best friend. He throws down the gun. I run out between the two of them. My brother Jerry, after the bowling alley's built, the bowling alley was being built. It wasn't complete when this here happened between me and Jim and Terry Shortridge. That murder in that bedroom, which I had no knowledge that it was going to happen. It happened right in front of me. But even in that bedroom, I heard this voice that, told me somebody's going to die. I mean, that's just like my son in my mother's house. I rented this building for my mother, the top 2 levels kind of. And me and my son lived up there. And my son got all testy and stuff with me. And I'm telling you, it had snowed and stuff, and all of a sudden, I said, you want me to walk you out? Because usually I walk my son out every morning, and I say goodbye to him. I say bye to him and walk him to the door. Because I'll tell you what, you better say, be happy and, wish your kids off well and they get home too, because I hate the fact that children don't come home. I've seen children not come home like Terry Lance Shortridge did, and Lancer is the middle name the code name for John F. Kennedy. And I've seen children that doesn't come home at night, and this is the little red Republicans that's actually putting parents and stuff against harm's way and using children to comply and force issues like what happened in my life. And this needs to stop in the United States of America, where cops and drug dealers are running rampage on the community and forcing people to comply. And I got back into these stories again because what? I want the law enforcement officers to come clean. Just because your folks did that don't mean you have to either. And you don't have to live up to their expectations, because some of your parents actually named you names that they shouldn't have. You know, almost embarrassing names that either made the person, like a boy named Sue, get tough or die. You know? And it's just like a young man that I met that came and delivered my groceries to me. And his name was Paige, you know. And, you know, me and him, we started talking, and I asked him, I said, so what's your name? And he says, Paige. And he goes, and, you know, he told me about his relationship with his dad. You know, his dad walked out on him pretty much, and they've named him a really crappy goddamn name on the way out the door. And, you know, that's like somebody named Donna or Dawn, you know, and you get teased and stuff, and that don't go over good. And Donna ends up being a bully because, you know, whatever. And I like to, it's okay when you're a celebrity, you can grab a woman by her pussy, you know, like that. And he was acting big in the boys' room because why? Because he's been teased by the men. It's pretty much, you know, Sherlock Holmes would say, elementary, Watson. But, you know, I'm really happy to see what I've seen about the support and stuff, and the, you know, people may be praying and stuff, and that could have very well diverted the storm and stuff, because, you know, that's what God would tell me to tell you. You know, you get in the King James Version today, you know, if you did better, if you knew better, you do better. Don't let somebody else pull you around by the ring of your nose. You can think for yourself. You don't need somebody else to tell you how to do. And if anybody's forcing somebody through, I don't believe that they're so stupid that they would vote that way, belittling people. He's belittling his own brand of people because, you know what? To be honest with you, I just seen a thing on TV. You know, the people that's on public assistance, the most of them are actually Republicans that need that public assistance. And that is exactly the problem. And these are people that are Republicans that are on public assistance and stuff. They seem to think that there's no what they can do, get out of it, except do a coup. And they're fucking almost starving stuff because the Republican Party would put them in that goddamn position to begin with. And I've seen this over and over and over with people that I counsel. You know, I don't wish harm and stuff onto the earth, but what I'm saying is the Holy Father is telling me that his enemies will be ashes under our feet. You know, well, he says his feet, he says under my feet. You know, I am the Holy Father's son. I'm telling you, in 2014, 3/8, I believe it was 3/8 of 2014, within 24 hours of the Malaysian airline, there's some hours in between there. There's a lot of things that happened there. But I do tell you, the events did happen. Susan Jane Donahoe did go to the jail cell, and I ended up going up to the hospital to be checked in for some goddamn reason. Because why? Well, I jumped out of off the roof of that house next to Susan, the events that happened in that house, and also the things that happened in that house. I mean, I'm telling you, I lived through what happened. And at one point, while I was alone, I had a Bible in my hand. The Bible started shaking, and the key slid right out into my lap. I got the key that was given from heaven, and I took it down, and I was going downtown to a guitar shop because it was like a little red house that was about a ½ inch wide, maybe 2 inches wide, 2.5 inches wide, like this. A little shaped like red house. It was plastic, I'm sure. It said the guitar place on it, the address, and I was heading down there, and it had a key on it, a little keychain and stuff. And I walked from that 1007th house down to Young's Grocery, and I continued down by the Camas paper mill, and there's a creek that goes underneath the mill. And I got there, and I said, I looked at that water, and I know what God wanted me to do. And I said, anything worth having's worth working for, and I took the keys and I threw it into the water. And I watched the keys go off, it just disappeared into the water, and I knew that they went underneath that mill, across the road and into the mill. And that has everything to do with the Bible and everything else that was going on. And I'm sitting here as I'm telling you the truth, and I felt I was totally cursed. And I was cursed at that house, and it's like I was stuck there at that house after the fact of all this happened. Susan was in jail. Susan actually got out of jail. A lot of things goddamn happened. And I ended up leaving a check at that house for $2,000 on the table. And leaving that house, I mean, I wouldn't even talk to Susan Donahoe and stuff. When they came back, I wouldn't even, I was totally estranged from him. I was staying away from him. Something really evil happened in that house, and Susan keeps saying something really evil happened in that house. There was a part where she was there, she came back, and she goes, she smashed 2 dozen eggs on the floor, she stomped them, she threw 2 dozen eggs down, she stomped on the carton, she threw the carton in the garbage sack. She said I was worth something to her. She said I'm a witch and a whore. I mean, there's a lot of things that happened in that house. And I felt totally goddamn cursed. It was just evilness. Like I said, now I don't even know if I ever want to talk to this Susan again, because she started fighting with me over the phone. She just kept it up, and I just goddamn infuriated me the other night, and I complained about it on some of the videos. And then Chase, he came over here and was supposed to just burn his goddamn garbage. He comes out here and he fucking walks around my motorhome and stuff, goddamn, starts getting weird on me. Just like weird shit happens, then you know what? We have the hurricane down in Florida. I really don't need anybody stirring me up, because when I get stirred up, all sorts of shit happens. And the gentleman that works for the city of Camas that came down to the steamboat landing area where I found that package. It's a package about this here long. It's a box. It's heavy. It feels like there could be an explosive in it, is what I'm thinking. It has a bungee cord wrapped around it. It says, dogs need to die, and it's black, and there's a gun on it. And I have a video of it I can pull up and put on the internet. And I probably should, because I said I would after the video, after all this happens. But what I want you guys to know is, all this stuff did happen to me. I've had this threat down here at Camas, Washington. We had a weather storm down here after the event was triggered from the storage unit place down at the Safeways. I left $22 down at Safeways that day because the woman started going off on me, and I just threw the money. I just walked away from paying my bill, and I said, you can just have my goddamn money and keep your goddamn products. Then I went down to get coffee at the coffee shop, and then I went there, and there's a woman there that, she's married, and she's a very attractive woman. And I know she's got my John T. Wright at YouTube. And, I stepped up to get coffee, and it's like this woman, she just couldn't understand me, or me and her just at odds, and she, I felt, a conflict between us. And I just said, I gotta get out of here, I can't do this today, and I just walked out the door because of the safety of the people there. I really do feel like, what happens, I don't feel like it, I goddamn knows what happens. You ever watch Carrie in the prom, Carrie, the thing where they do something terrible to Carrie, and Carrie's at a prom, and they dump paint over her hair, and she's embarrassed and shamed and all that stuff, and all the doors starts closing and stuff and slamming. Well, guess what? I explained to you guys that's exactly what's goddamn happening. all the doors are fucking slamming around. Guess what happened to goddamn down there in Florida? And by the way, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, and I told you guys this is going to happen. You know, every action has an equal opposite reaction, and Donald Trump's little group of weirdos has been doing this and putting pressures on people, and how goddamn dare that to do them to my people. Because that's what the Holy Father's saying. All souls are mine, saith the Holy Father. Now look, he wants me to forgive everybody. I have a hard time forgiving everybody. I have a hard time forgiving a lot of people. But at the same time, I forgive everybody around that's been betrayed by the devil himself. You could say the devil did it. Because that's exactly what I would think if I was you. Just put it on the devil, because the devil's going to goddamn pay for what he has done in the Garden of Eden and what they have done to the Holy Father's Son when they crucified him on the cross. And that's what's going down in Israel. Israel is leveling them. And the Holy Father's arms stretched out. And when I see that hurricane and the aftermath of it, that hurricane looks to me like it's heading right across the Atlantic, and it's heading right towards France. And it should hit fucking France the way that I feel. If they get a little blowback from it, I wouldn't be surprised. You know, for some reason I feel that France is just really a dirty player in the whole situation. You know, and I say bad things could happen around the world, worldwide, because the Holy Father's eyes are upon the world. I get to see the internet and do all this now. Right now I'm watching Two Mules for Sister Sarah. And you know what Clint Eastwood says in this very movie? Ladies first. Just like I said, ladies belong on the left and men belong on the right. I was so angry about this, and maybe you guys will understand, you know, from Florida. Take that as a direct fucking blow on that fucking thing about switching the bathrooms around. Men are supposed to be on the right-hand side, and women's supposed to be on the left-hand side. And I'll tell you that for a fact. Women are supposed to be on the left-hand side, and men's supposed to be on the right-hand side. And Walmart has it on 4th Plain down here. They have the bathroom switched around on this east end, and on the other side it's correct. And what it does is it's confusing people. What you have is mass confusion in the United States of America. One, it's a lack of having the Holy Father in your life. So pick up King James Version of the Bible today, and you start doing what's goddamn correct. And for somebody to say, well, these bathrooms have been like that for a period of time, like that, we're just going to continue to let it go. I will tell you right now, if you let this go and it infuriates me, I'm going to be goddamn angry, and you're going to have more fucking events around the United States of America. So I want you to know right now that, like I said to Ernie when I was up there, my ass is on the line, and there's an iron rod shoved straight up your ass. And that goes for each and every American. You know, what you gonna do when the Holy Father's Son runs wild upon you by just telling you the truth? There's nothing in it for me. I don't want none of your money. And by the way, State Industrial probably owes me a small fortune to begin with, and from the things that I've been screwed out of, I think I should be compensated for those, and I would have a lot of money to go around, and I don't need, well, too much money can put a target on a person's back, believe me. And Donald Trump's got a target on his back, because why? He's the Antichrist and I'm the Lord, and I told you. And if you accept him, there's going to be wrath and crap coming into your lives like that hurricane. So, I just want you to know you've been fucking warned. You have been warned, and all this happened. I've done this all commercial in 20 minutes, absolutely flat. 8, 7, 6, 5, and I'll talk to you guys later. I love you more than the Holy Father does.